Today on TimesCast, what makes a true Tea Party candidate? What to look for when buying a foreclosed home? And then a look at the end credits of documentaries. They're more than a list of names. They're a call to action.
So, Kate, it looks like after this election we're going to have a new caucus in the Congress, the Tea Party caucus.
Yep, that's right. We've got about 139 Tea Party candidates running, which is half the potential seats in the House and half in the Senate. That is half the seats where we could expect Republicans to pick up. And it looks like, some of them are sort of true Tea Party types, like maybe a Sharon Angle or Joe Miller.
There are Tea Party candidates and Tea Party candidates.
Exactly.
There's like a Marco Rubio in Florida, who's really conservative, who's just supported by the Tea Party.
Exactly. And then there's someone like Bob Dole in Illinois, who's ran with Tea Party support in the primary and is now saying, no, I'm actually really just a moderate.
Right. It was nice to have the energy to get me over the line, but
right,
actually
exactly.
I need sort of middle of the road votes in the general.
Yeah.
So Sharon Angle and Harry Reid debated last night, and I think one thing that's been so interesting is how much money Sharon Angle has raised. I mean, she set these phenomenal records, right?
First of all, we could expect to see this in Harry Reid's race. He's the
right,
Democratic leader. They want to get rid of him.
A lot of people want to knock him off.
Right, very symbolic. But there's a lot of Tea Party money coming in from out of state, maybe from groups like the Tea Party Express, which is this group run by, some people call it the AstroTurf Express, run by these consultants in California.
Right, and the same has been true for Christine O'Donnell too, right?
Exactly.
A lot of out-of-state money.
Right, and even some smaller House candidates that you may not have heard, like, Alan West, for instance, or there are plenty of other House candidates across the country where this is true.
And then sort of where is the Tea Party strongest state to state?
Well, it's interesting because the highest number of Tea Party candidates in our story we found in South Carolina, which isn't that surprising.
Right,
it's a very conservative state. Right.
Yeah.
But the second highest was in Massachusetts, which of course everyone thinks is the great blue state.
Of course, Scott Brown did get some Tea Party support,
That's
right?
That's true, but historically it's been a Democratic state. What happens there is there's a very weak Republican farm team, so the Tea Party can kind of come in and offer fill the gap, offer candidates where the Republicans could not.
What should you consider when buying a foreclosed home? A first look at Ron Lieber's column, Your Money, in Saturday's Times.
Many people have seen all of the headlines about foreclosure problems recently and wondered if this just may be the buying opportunity of a lifetime. After all, a lot of these properties are cheap and many people seem to be scared of them. If you're at all inclined to purchase one of these properties, though, you need to think carefully about several things. First of all, there's the mortgage. If you need to borrow money to buy one of these properties, a standard bank with a standard loan might not give you money to borrow to purchase one if it's in terrible shape. Government loans, like FHA loans and VA loans, may have some of their own restrictions that may slow you down and cause you to lose the home to somebody who can pay all cash. Also, think about the inspection. Many of these homes haven't been lived in for a year or two. There might be mold, or maybe there was sabotage from the previous owner busting holes in the wall or cutting up the pipes. You need an inspector who knows how to look behind the walls and underneath the floorboards of these homes. Then there are the auctions. Some people want to go to these hotel ballrooms where they're auctioning off properties, or the auctions on the courthouse steps. It's very important to do your homework before getting involved in any of these auctions. Lots of people have lost lots of money buying things that they didn't realize that they were buying. And finally, be patient. We're going to be dealing with this wave of foreclosures for years, not just for months. There's plenty of time to learn everything you need to know about how to work your way through this process. So the point of the exercise here is not to make any rash decisions that you might regret.
I want to be a nurse. I want to be a doctor.
Waiting for Superman, a film about the education system in the United States, ends with a call to action. Film critic A.O. Scott on its end credits.
At the end of Waiting for Superman, you're given a number that you can send a text message to, and you can become instantly, using your cell phone, a pro-education reform activist. Now, how exactly this is supposed to happen is not all that clear. What will really happen is that a $15 gift certificate will be given by you to the school of your choice. This is an interesting and somewhat new approach for documentary filmmaking. Documentaries have, for a very long time, been involved in exposing social issues. You can go back to the Vietnam era, to movies like Hearts and Minds. But for the most part, these movies were presenting these problems, but not necessarily trying to get you to get involved and become active.
I want to go to college to get an education.
What's interesting also about Waiting for Superman is that it comes from participant media, which was involved in An Inconvenient Truth and also The Cove, that tried to stop the slaughter of dolphins in Japan. Participant has been at the forefront of this model of turning viewers into activists, trying not just to bring attention to problems, but to get people involved in changing them. Participant estimates that around 7 or 8% of the people who have seen the movie in theaters so far have texted in and gotten involved. But it's a kind of an intriguing idea, and it's one that's been, for the most part, up to now, involved in liberal causes, although that might be changing a little bit. We have coming up a movie called Cool It, which is a global warming skeptic movie, and whether or not that one ends with a call to be active to promote global warming, I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see.
Join us on Monday for another TimesCast.